Hello everyone, in case you missed it, this is what happened in round 10 and we start with the Eagles and they're back on top of the table. Their incredible run continuing 9 wins in a row now after a 15-point win over Hawthorn, and it was a high intensity game. Hawks ruckman Jonathan Segler a late inclusion, playing his first game since rupturing his ACL in round 22 2016. Exciting Eagle Willie Rioli wowed the crowd with this brilliant snap. Not so brilliant, though, was this little tap, but it was Chris Marston who stunned everyone, including himself.
Marston in the pocket, chips it to the goal line. Awesome! That's off the scale. I'm not even sure he meant it.
No, he's admitted.
Now, it was Sunday fun day at Etihad Stadium. This fan taking it to a whole new level and laying it all bare in a friendly kick-to-kick. It's fair to say, though, security wasn't too happy with his on-field attire. Probably not entirely appropriate in front of the kiddies. All right, moving on to Melbourne now, and they are also on an impressive winning streak, making it 5 victories in a row with a 91-point thumping of Adelaide in Alice Springs. Now, the win also marks the first time in the club's history the Dees have won back-to-back games by over 90 points after they thrashed Carlton last week. It was a red-hot Demons outfit in the red centre, the Dees kicking the first 5 goals of the game. Jesse Hogan kicked a bag of 5 and also received some advice from the crowd. Jake Lever proved in his first game against his old club why the Crows were so keen to keep the gun defender, but when it came to best of field honours, 37 disposals and 3 goals from a rejuvenated Angus Brayshaw said it all.
So Adelaide's heaviest defeat under Don Pike. Melbourne having the most magnificent day in the heart of the nation, and it doesn't get any better than that. Brayshaw career highs left, right and centre. Hogan starred, and so did 21 others. What a statement they've made, the Dees.
Don Pike was lost for words at his side's disappointing performance, his silence deafening, and I'm sure the Crows boys will be praying they don't get a seat next to the coach on the flight back to Adelaide. Well, North Melbourne continues to defy the doubters. They're now 6-4, 5th on the ladder. Can you believe it? The Roos winning in the wet west, defeating Fremantle by 28 points. It was an arm wrestle for most of the day. Nat Fyfe and Ben Jacobs went toe-to-toe. Dockers coach Ross Lyon frustrated at times. Freo star Sonny Walters, though, did his best to keep his side within reach late in the final term, but a dubious non-free kick left Freo fans up in arms, giving the Roos a vital edge. Big man Todd Goldstein putting the final nail in the coffin.
Goldstein in game number 200, the big ruckman in his milestone match kicks a great goal.
Gee, they certainly are the surprise packet this year. All right, well, once again, the score review system has come under fire. Richmond coach Damien Hardwick slamming the process after controversy at the MCG on Saturday. It looked as though Tiger Jack Higgins had kicked a snag, the goal ump, though, calling it for a review. Now, it looks as though Tom Hickey has touched it over the line. Nevertheless, the score review official overturns the goal, deeming it a behind, much to the amusement of the crowd and the coach.
Respect the umpires. How about we back the goal umpire in and then we go back to the centre? And if you haven't figured it out by that stage, just let the game go. Momentum in sport is a wonderful thing. I sit there and I still don't know how it got turned over. I don't know about you blokes, but seriously, it's an embarrassment to our game. I reckon it really is. The technology is deplorable. What do you reckon the technology is going to be like in Alice Springs this week?
The AFL responding on Sunday, saying the score reviewers had access to alternate angles which showed it was touched.
We've been very clear with the goal umpires that whatever their position is, their decision is, unless it's overwhelmingly obvious, you don't change it. And we've communicated that to to the score reviewers, and clearly we need to continue to do that.
So, Steve, just for the record, was Richmond robbed of a goal yesterday?
No, they weren't.
And that wasn't the only drama. Jack Riewoldt knocked out in the opening 5 minutes of the game. Jake Carlisle to come under match review scrutiny for this high hit. Without Riewoldt, though, the Tigers had plan B up their sleeve. Josh Caddy moving forward, kicking 6 goals in the 28-point win over the Saints.
And pretty deadly from this position. 25 out. He's now got 5. The Tiger train is back on track.
Saints forward Jade Gresham matched that effort at the other end, nabbing a career-high 6 goals as well. And Sydney has moved into the top 4 with an 18-point win over Brisbane in a wet and spiteful encounter at the Gabba on Saturday night. With superstar forward Lance Franklin held to 1 goal by Darcy Gardiner, the Swans youngsters stood up with Isaac Heaney, Ben Ronk and Will Hayward kicking 2 goals apiece. There wasn't much for the Lions faithful to cheer about, the at times fiery clash eventually boiling over in the dying seconds of the game.
Oh, now it's on. Been threatening a few times today. Something's upsetting.
Yeah, it has too.
Gardner's led with the head a little bit. A little bit more.
All right, time now for what's been making news on social media. And we love the cheer squads, but they need to employ a permanent spell checker. The Lions couldn't find their winning way against the Swans, and maybe it's because they don't know how to spell it. Also making a buzz on social media, the Pies banner on Friday night. The pups are barking up all the wrong trees will tear these Bulldogs into a cute Bichon freeze. Very clever stuff from them. I like it. Alrighty, well, are the Bombers back? It's the question everyone is asking after they notched up their 2nd win in as many weeks, this time against a poor GWS. Bizarre scenes during the game with a smoke haze engulfing Spotless Stadium, a result of controlled backburning apparently in Sydney. Now, the Dons were hot from the start. It took them just 12 seconds to open their account, and while the fans were feeling the effects of the smoke, Giants midfielder Stephen Cornelio had the perfect response with this brilliant goal. His celebration paying homage to Paolo Dybala from Italian powerhouse Juventus. But the Bombers were too good. Dyson Heppel and David Zaharakis leading the charge in the middle as they broke the Giants back.
They are right up and about here, the Bombers. Zaharakis, this almost might be the game. Zaharakis has kicked a massive goal.
On to the Western Bulldogs, and their struggles continue. Their scoring has gone cold after leading by 26 points at quarter time against Collingwood on Friday night. The Dogs conceded 12 goals to 3 from there and didn't kick a major in the second half. Now, this fade out comes after they kicked just 2 goals for the match against Adelaide last week.
You know, this is probably easy to explain. They lifted their intensity and they challenged us on a number of fronts, and we came up short. We feel like we can play, a stronger 4 quarters than what we did tonight. But the evidence on over the last 2 weeks says otherwise.
Geelong has failed to impress for the 2nd week running with an unconvincing 28-point win over bottom place Carlton on Saturday night. After suffering a shock loss to Essendon last week, debutant Jermaine Jones had the home crowd jumping within minutes with his first kick in league footy. Gary Ablett hit the scoreboard early in his first game at the Cattery since returning to the club. But when it came to goal of the night, Sam Menegola said, "Thank you very much."
Hands it over Menegola. Jones comes at him, bends it with the outside of the foot. Oh, try that at home. If you can. That was very good.
The win soured though. Cats young gun Asava Radigalea taken to hospital with a suspected broken ankle. Horrific vision there. Looks like he'll need surgery and will face an extended stint on the sidelines. Thank goodness though for that green whistle. Wishing Asava all the best in his recovery. Now, we love a good torp, and we've seen some good ones. Who could forget Demon Jaden Hunt barrelling one home from about 70 metres last year? Well, he might need to give Saints skipper Jaron Geary some tips.
It is half-time. Well, this brings me back to Jeff Ferring many years ago for St Kilda.
I was going to say, this is the biggest kick for a Saint.
But Jaron Geary is not Jeff Ferring. Oh, my hat! He's gone to the right. In fact, the ball lands backwards, almost in a line with the kicker.
Oh, my hat indeed, Sandy. Good to see the skipper having a laugh there. In fairness, he had nothing to lose. To the ladder now, and West Coast on top. They haven't lost since round 1. 4 points behind them are the Tigers, then the Dees and Swans. The Pies are inside the top 8. And now as we look at the other half, the Power and Hawthorn on the cusp, St Kilda, Brisbane and Carlton languishing on the bottom of the ladder. And that's it for In Case You Missed It for another round. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.